Welcome, my friends. It's Justice again here from tutorialscamp.com. So today I want to walk you through what is called Adobe After Effects. So Adobe After Effects is actually the main program application for creating different kinds of motion graphics and then animations. Okay, it's not actually mainly for creating for editing videos. It's mainly for creating motion graphics where you can animate and then combine different types of graphics and then bring motion to them and then animate them just like movies or something like that. But it's not mainly for creating movies like maybe you have a sound and then a music and then you want a music for it. This is not the right tool to make to create videos for your music or whatever. That the attacks can be done best with how do you call it, this particular program called Adobe Premiere Pro. Okay, so this is After Effects is mainly for creating motion graphics. Okay, so I just if you face I don't want to bore you with a lot of things. I just want to walk you through it. So first, if you uh, if you download your Adobe After Effects and you first open it, this is exactly the interface that you are going to see here. Okay, you are going to see here, and you can see there's a lot of things here which can be very boring, but you don't need to worry about because I'm going to walk you through every one of it bit by bit. Okay, so mainly if you have been working with Photoshop or Illustrator before, you'll see that in those applications mainly you get these kinds of options, but here you see they called new composition, the new position from footage. So instead of composition, you can replace composition with a project. Okay, so composition is actually creating a project, but because this is motion graphic, they call it composition, right? Because composition is actually combining of different graphics and then compose them together to achieve a particular motion or whatever the task that you want. So this is how the interface look like. Okay, so uh, if you hover over it, you can see that on this section alone, this here is called the project panel. Okay, this is the project panel and it is where you're going to organize your files, the kind of things that you're going to be using for your project. Okay, so if I double click on it, you can see that can be able to select a file where I can use for my project. Let me just grab some image, import it, and you can see immediately I import it is being put here, right? So I can use this image and then inside my project and then work with it. I'm just going to delete it before. And the other panel is called this panel. The other panel is this one. If you click on it, you can see the blue section has been highlighted. Okay, and this is called composition panel. Okay, so this is kind of a visual way to tell you that this is what you are doing and this is what you are going to get after after your project is done. This is what you are going to get. Okay, so it's kind of what you get is what you see is what you get stuff. Okay, so whatever you are doing, you will be able to preview it here. Okay, so remember the name is composition panel, and if you come to this side too, this side here is called timeline panel. Okay, and you can see that it is actually hovering all the blue section down here. It is called timeline panel. Okay, but basically it is grouped into two. Okay, we have the left side here, which is where you group different kind of compositions. Okay, the different kind of compositions, I'll tell you what compositions means in more details. You can just think of it as a project. If you are coming from a little bit of Photoshop and then Illustrator, just think of it as a project. Okay, so this will be the timeline, the length of your project or a particular layer that you are working with, so you can use the mouse to actually resize it and then increase the size of it, and then use it to do some couple of animations to it. So remember the panels, you need to know the panel very well. This is project panel, composition panel, and then the timeline panel. And up here, this year actually we don't actually, there is not that this wasn't actually here. Okay, so these guys were just arranged here. Let me just bring them so that I will just show you how they work. Okay, so you can see they are mainly like this. Okay, and this is kind of, this panel here is kind of how do you call it? We don't actually have a specific name for it, but we just call it menu panel or whatever. Okay, you can just call it whatever. So this is where we select different kind of things to work with our project. So if you are working with audio, you can come here and then add some properties to the audio that you are working with. And then the preview tab, if you are working with text, you have the character where you can increase the type of the text, and then the color, and then a lot of stuff. Okay, add a stroke, and then content aware. This is when you are working with images. Those from creative backgrounds knows it much better. And this effect and preset is where you can choose animation and then other things for your motion graphics. This is where you align things, where the alignment, you align text and objects in your composition. Okay, so actually personally I prefer to group these things more in a special way, so that I will be able to, whenever I attach it, I will be you can see that it is just always left open like this. Okay, you can open one at a time. Okay, but if you don't want that, you can just, if you see this menu tab here, you can just where is it, close out the panel. There's another option here. There is a particular option coming. Okay, so you don't need to close the panel here. Okay, so just forget it. We can only open one at a time for now. So what I do is that I actually prefer to not to be opening them one at a time. So I prefer to group them in a way that they become very handy, so that whenever I move around, I will just touch some element and then easily work with them in my project. So what do I do? Well, if you go to this paragraph tab, you can see that you can just drag it to somewhere here. Okay, if you drag it to somewhere here, it gets aligned here. Okay, so now this is open by default here, so I prefer to add the character ones to it. So I will add the character to here, and you can see it has been grouped in a how do you call it, a row, in a row. Okay, so you just pick the paragraph and then the character tag here. And I also prefer to bring the alignment down here. Okay, yeah, and then the preset too, I prefer to bring it somewhere here. So that's all that I do. I put the paragraph and then the character, I separate them in a single row, and then the alignment and the effect and preset, I separate them in a single row, and then I left the other ones open here. Okay, so this case it becomes more handy, but I need to move this downwards a little bit. Alright, cool. I think it's perfect now. Okay, so in this way that it become easy to work with. Okay, alright, so now actually this thing that you see here, okay, we call it a composition panel. Okay, now if you take a look at how it is, okay, you can actually change the workspace of it. You can actually, most people call it workspace, but it's actually a composition panel. Okay, so imagine if I create a new composition here, maybe I can name it anyone, and then this is where you name your composition, and then this is where you give it a background color, let's say a dark red, and then you can specify the weight of your workspace or the composition panel, and then the height here, and also the pixel ratio, and it's a lot. Okay, it's a lot. So resolution, that's how big you want it, and then you have the color selector here where you can use it to select any color here. Okay, if you don't want to choose the color from here, you can just use this color picker here to select a color. Let's say I choose this one red, this thing here, I can click on it. Yes, you see immediately I click on it, I get a red color attached here, right? So we click on OK, and the red becomes the background of my composition. Okay, so that's how we create a new composition. So this is actually, we call it a composition, but you find yourself calling it a workspace and stuff. Okay, so with a workspace you can see that this background have been, all this type here has been grouped into much details. You can see a lot of stuff here is going on. If you prefer to actually group it, you want a similar an easy stuff of it, they have gotten a couple of workspace here. So you go to Windows and then workspace, and then these are all kind of workspace that you can select. Okay, so you can see I've gotten Justice workspace here. This is one that I created myself, so I'll show you how to create one to yourselves. So let's say we choose the default workspace, and you can see this is the default workspace. You see this thing comes here and this stuff comes here. Okay, you can go up, choose another workspace, let's say effect workspace. Okay, so this is the effect workspace, and then you can call here learn workspace. You can see this doesn't have much items. Okay, so based on the project that you are working on, choose a workspace for it. Then this is standard small screen. Okay, this is also good to work with, and then standard. Alright, so this is actually what Adobe After Effects comes with. Okay, but I personally prefer to create my own workspace, so let me choose default. So one thing you should know is that all the workspace that you see here, okay, they have been aligned on this option menu tab here. You can click here to toggle between them all. Okay, so you can see them here. Okay, so what you can do is that you can create your own workspace and then put it up here. Okay, so let's see that let's say this is this workspace here, this default workspace here. We want it to be kind of, let's take this guy back here. Okay, so we want only this character and then paragraph tag, and then we want to save this workspace so that in later time we can use this workspace. So what we do is that you go to Windows and then workspace. Okay, and then save changes, save as new workspace. Okay, and then you call it, let's say my workspace, workspace like this, and then you click on OK tab. Alright, that's good. Now you don't see it here. Why? Because if you go to the list of workspace, you will see it here. Where is it? My workspace selected here. Why is don't see it here? Because the items are many. Okay, they can't all fit in here. Okay, they can't all fit in here. So what you can do is to, maybe you can click on any one of it, or you can easily select a workspace here. Okay, but there is a way to arrange I think there is a way to bring them tab up here. Edit workspace. So you go to edit workspace. Okay, you go to the tab here and you click on edit workspace, or I think that's also visible here. You go to workspace here and then edit workspace. Okay, so let's look for my workspace. This my workspace, and then let's bring it up here. Okay, and if you click on save, you can say boom, it's visible here. Okay, so that's how we work with you create your own workspace and then use it. Okay, so if we select this workspace, you can see that we've gotten our default workspace here. Okay, so let's say we want to make changes to this workspace. Let's say we take the paragraph out here. Okay, now since you have taken the paragraph out, we need to save changes to this particular workspace. So in that case, what you do is that you go to Windows and then workspace again, and then go to save changes to this workspace. Okay, so even if you choose another workspace, default workspace, and then we go back to our my workspace, you can see that the changes has been taking effect. At first there was a paragraph tag here, the paragraph this tag was here, but currently we only have the character tag because we made the changes to it. So that is workspace for you, and in this lesson you have seen the interface of Adobe After Effects, and then the project panel, composition panel, timeline panel, and then you have seen how to create and then save changes, create your own custom workspace, and then how to modify them, and then how to align them on the menu bar here. One thing I also want to show you is something, this panel here, which is called toolbar panel. Okay, now what we do in most graphics is that we work with a couple of tools to create motions and then other projects. Okay, so you can see we have a list of tools here. We have the hand tool, and then we have the move tool, selection tool, the hand tool, the zoom tool, and we have the rotation tool, and then the anchor point tool, and then we have the star or the polygon stuff, rectangular tool, those stuff here. We have the pen tool, the text tool, and then we have the brush, and then we have the crown stamp, and then the eraser tool, and we also have roto brush tool, which I don't use often, and this one is called puppet position pin tool. Yes, so these are all the tools that you will be using for any Adobe After Effects when you are creating a project, right? So that's all for this lesson, just to introduce you to what is going on here, the whole thing is here. Okay, so I hope you have grabbed everything. Just remember, this is the project panel, the timeline panel, the composition panel, and then from here up to here is all your workspace, and then here is the tools menu. Okay, now if you just want to create a new composition, you just go to home and then you create a new composition. Okay, or if you have a already existing project, you just open it here. Okay, at first you remember I told you that a composition is just a project. Okay, so if you take a look, why is it that they didn't say that they didn't mention new project, create a new project here, but they did mention they did mention composition here. At first you saw that they said create a new composition, but here they are saying create a new project here. Okay, the thing is the same. Okay, composition and project is the same. Okay, just that in motion graphic, instead of project we make it a composition. Okay, so if you hear someone saying composition or project, just take it the same thing. Okay, especially if you are from graphic how do you call it, of how do you call it, Photoshop and Illustrator, those stuff. Okay, so thank you for watching. That's all for this video. So I will see you in the next video where I walk you through how to use this kind of couple of tools here. Okay, so thank you for watching, and then subscribe to the video for more details, and then I will see you in the upcoming tutorials. Thank you for watching. See you.